and welcome to Business Class. Ahead on the show, the restaurant wrap-up with the Australians Nisia Wilden and a look at one of the Maldives' latest luxury resorts. But first, Qantas has unveiled its premium passenger lounge at Brisbane International Airport. The lounge, which is 30% larger than the previous space, is designed to represent the natural beauty of Queensland. And here to take us through all the features plus more is Bruce Piper from Travel Daily. Bruce, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Jojo.
So the lounge was unveiled last night. What do you make of it?
Look, it's really long overdue for Brisbane. It's only for international at the moment. Qantas, it's part of the ongoing makeover of Brisbane Airport, and so next year they'll also open a new domestic Qantas Club and domestic business class lounge. But yeah, long overdue and well worth it. They've worked really hard on it. It's a fantastic outcome.
And it's much larger than the previous space.
It is much larger, and it's got all of the latest sort of innovations in terms of the food and beverage. In particular, there's a thing called the Quench concept, which is offering non-alcoholic refreshing beverages, and that's something that's going to roll out across all of the Qantas international lounges coming up.
And what are some of the other standout features? The furniture is meant to complement the Queensland environment.
Absolutely, and there's some amazing artwork, which I think is based on an Aboriginal background. There's Wi-Fi, everything that you would expect. It's a really comfortable, open, inviting space for those travellers, in the lead up before they depart.
So talking about an inviting space, previously it was separated for business travellers and first class travellers, and now they've actually combined the space.
Yes, which is an interesting concept. As you know, in some of Qantas's facilities they have a separate, so Sydney has a separate first class lounge. It's beautiful. Melbourne has one, Los Angeles, Hong Kong. But in Brisbane they've elected to go for this combined space rather than separating the classes. So essentially the first class lounge offering is usually for first class passengers or platinum frequent flyers. Qantas doesn't operate any first class flights out of Brisbane, so I expect that's the reason for doing that.
And for how long have they been working on this lounge for?
Look, I think it's a couple of years. It's been quite a long process, and as I said, next year the process continues with a new domestic and a new Qantas Club, this is the Qantas Club, and they're also going to have a new valet experience, so you can drop your car off and have it whisked away for you.
Okay, sticking with Qantas, and they have also announced a new Sydney to Beijing route.
Yes, this is huge news. In fact, our publication Travel Daily broke it exclusively. We managed to pick up a report out of China that this route had been approved very early last week, and then later in the week Qantas confirmed the announcement. It is really interesting. We had expected that Qantas would be, they've certainly got some route announcements coming up with their new 787-9 aircraft coming online, and we thought that that might be what they decide to operate, but they've jumped the gun and they are launching this flight early next year. It's about the 25th of January, I think, using existing A330 aircraft, which is a great product, and so we're waiting with bated breath to see what else is on the agenda for Qantas in the coming weeks.
But this is actually a reinstalment of the route because it was cancelled originally in 2009.
Yeah, that's right. Qantas, it's had a checkered history, to be honest. You would think that between two great trading partners, surely we could sustain a flight to the nation's capital, but it just didn't really work, and Qantas had different priorities. What's enabling this is an expanded partnership with China Eastern Airlines. Also, I think probably Qantas has switched its thinking a little bit, and they're really looking at the inbound market as well from China, which they hadn't in the past. China is a huge supplier of tourists, and Tourism Australia has been marketing very hard there for a number of years, and that seems to be paying off. And some months Chinese visitors are the highest number into Australia, and Qantas is hoping to capitalise on that as well as business traffic. So yes, it's an intriguing concept. They're marketing the flight in China with the idea that to the tourists in China, that if you want to experience Australia, the best way to do it is get on an Australian carrier. And so yeah, it'd be great to see if that works.
And moving on to Emirates, their Skywards rewards program, they've had a few changes recently, and the latest offering is that members can actually cash in their miles at selected duty-free.
Yeah, this is a really interesting idea. It's amazing what technology can provide. It's Dubai-based airline. This is valid for Dubai duty-free that operates the major DXB airport in Dubai, but also there's a new airport that they're building called Jebel Ali. And what this allows you to do is you can just redeem your points at the shop. The minimum amount is, I think, 4,500 Skywards loyalty points. That equates to 100 UAE dirham, which is about 30 Australian dollars. So, you know, for a small purchase, maybe for a meal or something like that, it's amazing. And you can use your card, but in fact, all you need is your Skywards number. They obviously have it all linked in at the cash register, so you can enter your number and show your passport, and they'll, you know, you buy your wife some perfume on the way home.
And is this a first for an airline loyalty scheme?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that the ability to do it seamlessly at the checkout is a first. Of course, there are lots of ways to redeem your points and for vouchers, etc. But I think that you know, it's amazing to think that you could fly from Sydney to Dubai, earn points, and then straight away redeem them, you know, for something at the duty-free store in Dubai.
Okay, now changing to travel booking, Flight Centre is offering cancellation cover. How does this work?
Well, look, this is a real, it's a clever marketing ploy by Flight Centre, and at the moment there's a little bit of lack of confidence around travel. You know, there's been various unrest around the world, and for people who are sort of teetering on the brink of, oh, will I, won't I book, this is an incentive, that an extra bonus that Flight Centre is offering for the people who might be not so sure about booking. It's trying to encourage them to get that booking over the line. It's only valid for a short time, and it's only valid for flights to Europe. But basically what you do is you book your flight, you pay this extra $149, and it gives you a range of benefits, including the ability to cancel. So that you lose nothing except your $149, and that ability to cancel, you can cancel up to 8 weeks before departure, and over the top of that, it also comes with a $150 hotel credit. So it costs you nothing, you know, if you take that offer up of the hotel accommodation as well.
Okay, now speaking of hotels, the Conde, the Treasury in Perth, the hotel, has won a pretty impressive award.
Yeah, look, Conde Nast Traveller, which is a huge magazine in the States. Every year, you know, every magazine has its Reader's Choice Awards, but this one is quite an authoritative, well-read by the sort of AB demographic, and they've announced their list of the top 50 hotels in the world. And Conde, the Treasury, which is a relatively new property in Perth, part of the Como group, which is based in Singapore, it's come in second on the list. And so, yes, it's quite an accolade, and it's the only Australian hotel to appear in the list.
Right, I'll have to see if I can get a booking one.
Absolutely, I'm sure they'll let you in.
Okay, Bruce, thanks so much for joining us in business class.
My pleasure.
Now, the Maldives are synonymous